breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I'll breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I'll breathe out love. Yeah, so the service today is, mysticism for scientists. Is that what it's called? And so we're doing a lot of songs just about engaging with that wonder with the real world and the amazingness of everything. And this is one that I've loved for a long time. It's called The Gentle Arms of Eden, and it's kind of like the creation tale told from a place of wonder. And
Also known as my favorite song about mitosis.
also that. This is a fun one to kind of move around your body a little bit and sing along to. So if you feel called, I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit. We'll sing Gentle Arms of Eden. On a sleepy, endless ocean, when the world lay in a dream, there was rhythm in the splash and roll, but not a voice to sing. So the moon fell on the breakers, and the morning warmed the waves, till a single cell did jump and hum for joy, as though to say, "This is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Then the day shone
bright and round her till the one turned into two, and the two into 10,000 things, and old things into new. And on some virgin beachhead, one lonesome critter crawled and looked about and shouted out in his most astonished drawl.
"This is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Then all the sky was buzzing, and the ground was carpet green, and the weary children of the woods went dancing in between. And the people sang rejoicing when the fields were glad with grain, this song of celebration from their cities on the plain. "This is my home, this is my only home, this is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden." Tayward Wider on the cello. there's smoke across the harbor, and there's factories on the shore, and the world is ill with greed and will and enterprise of war. But I will lay my burdens in the cradle of your grace, and the shining beaches of your love, and the sea of your embrace. This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in gentle arms of Eden. This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. Should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Thanks, everyone. We're going to do another one here.
This is one by Sanctuary member Alex Pham, who's not here tonight physically, but her song is here. She often invites people to do their best tree dances during this song.
Accurate.
When I moved to Boston, I didn't know that Alex Pham wasn't just like a famous songwriter. And I met her when I got here, and I was like, wait, I know that singer from the Sanctuary playlist.
We did Paddle Your Canoe, which is one of Alex's songs, and Ashley was like, you sound just like the recording. And Alex was like, it's me.
Like, oh my God, it's you. How embarrassing.
I wanna think with what I think we can learn from the trees. If you listen, you have the right to say you disagree. But I think there's some truth in my story, and you will know what you will know, and you will see what you will see. Tree cannot exist on its own, but it will be for you your very own home. Some last a long time, some only short. They can join together like a beautiful fort. As they grow, they change their shape, just readjusting. It's not a mistake. They're barren sometimes, their defense is down, but they're still 10 tall, knowing life circles around. I wanna be like a tree. 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 How do you stand so strong and still sway when the wind comes? How do your leaves grow back when they've all fallen? I see just like me, you didn't grow all by yourself. You just kept growing up and out, but you've also had some help. Your branches grow out, reaching for others. They also grow up, looking to answers above us. Your roots go down well, make sure you're well connected. You need to be ready for the unexpected. I wanna be like a tree. 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 So strong. I wanna be like a tree. I wanna be like a tree. So strong. I wanna be like a tree. I want to
a tree.
I want to be.
I wanna be like a tree.
So strong.
I wanna be like a tree.
Beautiful. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Joe. I'm up here with Soren and Ashley and Mark David and Sam and Tayward and Lucas. And there's a chalice lighting next, and not our welcome. So I welcome up our chalice lighters.
Hi, I'm Meg, and this is Lily. We invite those of you at home to also light a candle or take a deep breath if you wish. For the New Year, 1981, by Denise Levertov.
I have a small grain of hope.
One small crystal that gleams clear colors out of transparency.
I need more. I break off a fragment to send you.
Please take this grain of hope so that mine won't shrink.
Please share your fragment so that yours will grow.
Only so, by division, will hope increase. Like a clump of irises, which will cease to flower unless you distribute the clustered roots, unlikely source,
Clumsy and earth covered of grace.
Thank you. That poem was among a kit that was sent out as kind of a care package early in the pandemic, and it hung in my kitchen right above my kitchen sink for however many years it has been, since March 2020. And it has woven its way into my soul, and I think of this sanctuary community when I see it. Sanctuary Boston is a community that is grounded in Unitarian Universalism and open to seekers of all kind, a place of vibrant community and deep connection. It's been quite a week or two. The world is ill with greed and will and enterprise to war. It's really good to be together, given that. So we hope that Sanctuary Boston is a place you can come however you are, just as you are, however your heart is. If it's feeling the grief and the weight of the world, or you're feeling some joy at life's delights, we hope that you'll bring those to this community here. We hope that you'll find the connections that you're seeking. This evening's service is continuing our spiritual journey, and this evening's topic is mysticism for scientists, for which I'm very grateful that Phoebe is sharing a reflection, so thank you for sharing your stories with us. We know that our spiritual community is richer when we share all sorts of experiences and all of the different kinds of spiritual paths that we're on, so we're grateful for that. We welcome each other into worship just as we are, but also with a ritual set of words that we read each time. I've got Lucas and Soren up here to lead us. You're invited to choose the words or the typeface that most appeal to you this evening, and we'll join together in the last line as we read these words of welcome together.
Whether you go to church on Sunday morning,
or light candles on Friday nights,
whether you've been hurt by religion, saved by it,
or some of both, whether you're brand new to spiritual community,
a seasoned seeker, whoever you are,
whatever you are,
wherever you are on your journey,
altogether, we welcome you.
And you're invited to greet your neighbors now. Oh, nope, yes, I'm not going to do that yet because I'm rushing things again.
That's okay.
Sorry,
You are
Soren.
invited to greet your neighbors.
It's just Soren doing the inviting. Jeez.
But we wanted to specifically, and I wanted to ask you specifically to set a couple of intentions. Introduce yourself to someone new. If that's easy for you, maybe allow yourself to get pulled into conversation with a second new person. If that's hard for you, also try to find a second new person. Greet the camera, our camera that's got the red light on. We can wave hello to or say hi in the chat. And if you are in the chat online, please say hi and tell us where you are joining from. Please go ahead and greet your neighbor.
Alrighty, friends. Now is the time to end those conversations, but I encourage you to continue them after the service. Alrighty. So I grew up in the UCC Church, which is technically known as the United Church of Christ, but lovingly known as Unitarians Considering Christ in the UU community. In my UCC church, there was a lot more Bible reading and talking about God and believing in the impact that these things could have on one's life compared to what we do at Sanctuary. When I was really young, I didn't care much for the actual religious ideas behind what was going on, but rather the fact that I would be getting cookies after the service. As I got older, though, I fell in love with scientific research and increasingly dreamed of being a scientist. And, in addition to that, I increasingly couldn't abide by all the unsciency things that we were talking about in the Bible. For example, the story of Jesus feeding thousands of people with just a few loaves of bread and fish. I had absolutely loved this story as a child. But as I got older, I found it unacceptably unrealistic based on the scientific law that physical matter cannot be created or destroyed. I held these beliefs against religion and spirituality as I started pursuing a degree in biochemistry. Initially, the classes I was taking seemed to support the ideas I had formed in my head. There are certain known scientific laws that are proven true, and anything that goes against these laws is false. However, in the more advanced courses I have started to take, the idea that science is the absolute truth has been contradicted. While society, me included, typically holds scientific discoveries like the law of gravity as absolutely true, there is, and always will be, an aspect to science that is unknown. It's physically impossible for scientists to complete every single experiment in order to actually prove even the smallest conclusion as absolutely true. Sure, things can be estimated and assumed and modeled, but they can never be outright proven. Because of this, we can't prove that any scientific concept is correct at all times, even though many are believed to be. In realizing this, I realized that my reasoning that went against religion and spirituality was pretty flawed. I avoided religion and spirituality so much because there was no absolute answer to a lot of the questions asked and stories told. But it turns out this is true for science as well. As uncomfortable as it may be to acknowledge, nothing in this world can ever truly be proven for sure. Not even science. As a scientist who likes to have everything figured out, this idea is quite scary to me. However, it does open up incredible avenues into asking and answering questions about what we do not know, and being okay with finding our own answers to these things. Because, after all, there truly is no correct answer out there. Now, both my life as a scientist and as a spiritual person make room for mystery, as I have found a way to both celebrate the quest for knowledge while also celebrating all the things that we will never truly know.
Thanks, Leona.
So many homeless sailors, so many winds that blow. I asked the half-blind scholars which way the currents flow. So cast your nets below, and the gods of moving waters will tell us all they know. The circles of the atoms, the circles of the moon, the circles of the planets, all play a marching tune. And we who would join it can stand aside no longer. Now let us all begin. And we who would join it can stand aside no longer. Now let us all begin.
Our reading this evening is Your Casual Magic by Lindsay Rush for Elle's 8th grade English class. Your casual magic is waiting for you on the edges of the page, at the end of the brush, in the key of C, where muscle meets bone. It's tapping at your window, glowing on the screen, lingering patiently in the shadows. It trusts your weirdest ideas. In fact, it authored them. And it finds you neither too much nor not enough. It's a rabbit in a hat, a coin behind an ear, a flutter of doves ready at a moment's notice to wow the crowd with a grand reveal. A magician never reveals her secrets, but I'll give you this one hint. Watch very closely, flicker the lights, and on the count of 3, believe in your casual magic as much as it believes in you.
Casual magic is waiting for you. That's how I have decided to understand mysticism. The casual magic that connects pieces of this world, the divine spirit that makes up the fabric, a God with her secrets. For me, mysticism is the still small voice, opening myself up to revelation from the universe. It's watching very closely. On the count of 3, listening for what the magic of the world is trying to tell me. I recently read a wonderful short book called The Luminous Web. I wish I could hold it up for you, but I got it from the library. And you got to return those things. So The Luminous Web, it's a collection of essays by Barbara Brown Taylor. She is an Episcopal priest and a writer and a teacher. The writer part is important here. She writes about the difference between how religion and science know things. How science and religion know things. While both rely on reason and experience, the most obvious difference is that science depends on observation, while religion depends on revelation.
you go get that first kind of knowledge. And the second kind is given to you. The second kind is given to you. This gift she mentions feels like she's talking about mysticism to me. It doesn't have to be revealed by a god in a human form in the sky or the voice of some power in your head. But something about religion is that knowing is revealed to us if we open up to this world and listen closely. So my name is Phoebe Eckhart Lee. I forgot to write in a piece where I tell you who I am and why I'm here. I started a career as a scientist, and then I took what felt like a sharp turn and went to divinity school and am becoming a Unitarian Universalist minister. And it is not as sharp of a turn as it felt. I'm in really good company. But so early in divinity school, my undergraduate degree is in botany and math. I know a lot about math and science. I had never taken a religion class before showing up to divinity school, so I kind of soaked everything up like a sponge. When I got to divinity school, I learned this concept that just blew my mind. When I took a Hebrew Bible and Old Testament class, I learned about a type of Jewish exegesis called pardes. Exegesis is a big word that took me 6 months to ask someone about. I'd like to share that I aced the math part of the SAT and not the verbal part. Exegesis means critical exploration or interpretation of a text or piece of a text, particularly the Bible. So, critical exploration of a piece of scripture. Close reading. Reading for meaning. Pardes is an acronym also, and each of the Hebrew consonants that make up the word stand for a word that is one level of reading into a text. Think of it kind of like a layer cake of meaning. So I'm going to pull from some sources here. So the 4 layers here in this tool that I really love. The first one is peshat, which means surface, or the literal direct meaning. What is this bunch of words literally saying to me? I knew that one from science. I got it. The next one, remes, hints, or the deep meaning just beyond the literal sense, the allegoric, the symbolic meaning. I could wrap my head around that. I know about symbolism. Then there's darash, from the Hebrew darash, or inquire, to seek, kind of a comparative meaning. If you're looking at other things on this, if you're looking for other sources given through similar occurrences. And then sod, the secret, the mystery, or the esoteric, mystical meaning as given through inspiration or revelation. That we did not talk about in abstract algebra. So something important here is that the deepening meanings don't contradict each other. They can be in agreement, they can build off of each other, but often the deeply hidden meaning doesn't make the literal impossible. Often there's overlap, and finding all 4 layers of meaning isn't guaranteed. I'm certainly not going to have secrets revealed to me without patience, without reverence. So beautifully for me, because I was a tree biologist, the word pardesh in Hebrew means orchard. A gathering of trees, of fruit, a growing cycle, the roots and branches themselves, the whole place. Maybe you can close your eyes for a minute, see if you can picture an orchard. All the stories, the memories, the hints, what secrets are lying in that orchard? What kind of orchard do you see? So Jenna Schwartz is a Jewish poet and writer. And she really helped me to understand why having layers of understanding feels so good. She says, "These days, I want to take my time naming what I know to be true and embracing the unknown, beckoning the unseen and the secrets to show themselves in time and space. To see what is apparent and speak what is true, to accept what is, knowing that very acceptance is a magnificent gateway and a simple wooden door. All at once, to loving this life and living it fully, and to know, too, that there is more than meets the eye. There is more than meets the eye if you are patient." I have not always been patient. I wonder if some of you can relate to that. I have not always been patient, and I wanted to know how the orchard grows. I'm from California. Driving through my home state is hours of driving through orchards. They kind of blur into an abstract thing when you're driving past and all the rows are going by. It transforms a little. I have always wanted to know how the world works, and I imagine many of you are with me. The clearest path towards finding out how the world works that I could identify at 17 years old was science. So I went to college to study science. I got into the most intense math classes I could, and I was going to figure out this how does the world work thing. I had curiosity, and I wanted certainty. So Barbara Brown Taylor, who wrote The Luminous Web, she wrote, "Today's certainty can always become tomorrow's antique notion," which makes doubt an essential tool in the scientific investigation of reality. And that really called to me and spoke to me. I was like, okay, doubt, I can hold doubt with my curiosity. So when I was a college freshman, I was 18 years old, I was invited by a biology professor to interview for a spot in her lab doing research over the summer. Two of my friends, Nick and Brian, were also invited to interview. We did all get the job, but we nervously went together, and I remember vividly standing in the hallway outside of the professor's office while Nick and then Brian interviewed. They had very positive 15-minute interviews, and then it was my turn. And my interview lasted an hour and a half. Nick and Brian left, they got lunch, they came back. Now, my interview wasn't long because I'm particularly gifted in science. It was long because I love to chat. And turns out my professor also loved to chat. She told me stories and secrets, and I asked question after question after question. We got way off topic. My test scores and grades were good if we completely ignore chemistry. And I think she might have hired me for my curiosity more than for my scientific prowess. So for the next 3 years, it was a plant physiology lab. I studied the environment to understand how the world works out of a reverence for this earth. The greenhouse was my sanctuary. My daily visits to care for research plants were my private worship. My time to hold awe for the green beings that were stubborn enough to make it through New England winter. I studied vascular anatomy, hydraulic structures, and growth hormones of trees because I wanted to know how the world knows how to wake up in the spring. I pored over thin slices of bark to see the pattern and care with which nature is designed. I studied probability and statistics and imaginary numbers to try and find certainty and predictability in this world. I worked with a mathematics professor who saw the divine in abstract algebra. My scientific training felt like drawing myself one tiny square of the universe and trying to find every question hiding inside of that square. I read a book a few years ago about a guy who drew a 1 meter square in the forest and went back week after week for a whole year to see what was happening in his square. Was he a scientist or a mystic? Probably both, at least by the end. I wonder if he figured out how the world knows how to wake up in the spring. Well, in full disclosure, I can tell you how leaf out happens, what's happening at the apical meristem and the hormone process. I can tell you about vascular overwintering, but that doesn't feel like the whole answer. And part of me still wants to know, okay, but how does the world know how to wake up in the spring? I know the peshat, the literal, but there's so much meaning that still escapes me. Barbara Brown Taylor tells us that the facts themselves do not supply the meaning. An interpreter supplies the meaning, a sentient being who can perceive and wonder and think and say. While I was working in this lab, I grew several small orchards worth of poplar trees. I tended them carefully, watering them, pruning them, washing each leaf individually with bug-resistant soap. If that's not reverence, I don't know what is. Reverence for the mysteries that I was lucky enough to get to glimpse unfolding. I got to decapitate plants and immediately freeze them in liquid nitrogen. It was like stopping time. I got to cover little trees in dark garbage bags and try to turn off photosynthesis. I got to grow plants in big refrigerators and try to force them into dormancy so that we could study them in September. It was a little like playing God. So tree biology books have become really popular recently. I am sure you've seen them in bookshelves and recommendation lists. So at this point, you might have heard about how trees talk to each other underground. I'm seeing a lot of nodding. That's excellent. All of the trees are listening to one another. Their roots are connected through the soil by an incredible network of mushrooms. They're called mycorrhizal fungi. So, like Alex Pham said in her song, the trees have help. The trees aren't doing this alone. They're sending each other nutrients, warning signals. Sometimes they even sabotage each other. You might also have heard about redwood trees and how they form community. When an old redwood tree dies, a ring of new trees crops up around where the trunk used to be. They call them daughter trees. They use the body of the old tree as sort of a nurse log, giving them the nutrients they need to start up. We get these incredible rings of redwoods that totally feel like magic to me. And there are hundreds of scientific processes that explain why that happens and how maybe it's not as magical as it looks, but it is also magic. Casual magic, revealing itself in the forest if you are patient enough to look. So I'm learning patience. A magician never reveals her secrets. The great magician, she made the world. Maybe she is the world. Our science peeks behind the curtains, sees how the tricks are made, and we still ooh and ah anyway. Watch closely. Count to 3. She is waiting for you. May it be so, and amen. And now we are going to sing a song. I'm going to participate in singing a song. Shock to all, including me. This is a song that feels like mysticism to me. So Ashley and I have been friends for over a decade, since we were young teenagers in California, in the redwood trees. And we used to sing this song circa like 2012, 2011. And it makes me think about mysticism. One of the key phrases is, I am just a poppy seed inside a great big bowl, and the ocean is a giant that can swallow me whole. This is I Like Giants by Kimya Dawson. It's a little fast, but please sing along.
I'm trying to chill it out a little bit.
When I go for a drive, I like to look up to the side of the road, turn out the lights, get out and look up at the sky. I do this to remind me that I'm really, really tiny, the grand scheme of things, and sometimes this terrifies me. It's only really scary because it makes me feel serene in a way I never thought I'd be, because I've never been so grounded and so humbled and so one with everything. I am grounded, I am humbled, I am one with everything. Yeah, rock and roll is fun, but did you ever hear someone say you are huge? Look at the moon, look at the stars, look at the sun, look at the ocean and the desert and the mountains and the sky. Say, I am just a speck of dust inside a giant's eye. I am just a speck of dust inside a giant's eye. When I saw Genevieve, I really liked it when she said what she said about the giant and the lemmings on the cliff. She said, I like giants, especially all giants, 'cause all peeps feel too big sometimes, regardless of their size. When I go for a drive, I like to pull off to the side of the road and run and jump into the ocean in my clothes. I'm smaller than a poppy seed inside a great big bowl, and the ocean is a giant that can swallow me whole. So I swim for all salvation and I swim to save my soul, but my soul is just a whisper trapped inside a tornado. So I float to my back and I float and I sing. I am grounded, I am humbled, I am one with everything. I am grounded, I am humbled, I am one with everything. So I talked to Genevieve and almost cried when she said that the giant on the cliff wished that she was dead, and the lemmings on the cliff wished that they were dead. So she giant told the lemmings why they ought to live instead, and it made her reconsider reasons that they ought to live instead, and it made her reconsider all the sad thoughts in her head. So thank you, Genevieve, because you take what is in your head, you make things that are so beautiful and share them with your friends. We all become important when we realize our goal should be to figure out our role within the context of the whole. And yeah, rock and roll is fun, but did you ever hear someone say you are huge? Look at the moon, look at the stars, look at the sun, look at the ocean and the desert and the mountains and the sky. Say, I am just a speck of dust inside a giant's eye. I am just a speck of dust inside a giant's eye. I am just a speck of dust inside a giant's eye, and I don't want to make her cry, 'cause I like giants.
So hi, I'm Sky,
And I'm Ellie.
and we're here to make the offering ask tonight. So coming into our service tonight, the news out of Israel and Palestine over these last few days has been weighing heavy on me, as I know it has weighed heavy on many of us. As an American Jewish person, I lament the lives that have been lost, and I feel unspeakable fear for the lives that will be lost. I feel horror at the violence perpetrated against civilians in Israel and Palestine alike. I grieve the displacement and oppression that have marked my people's history, the desire for a place to call home. I'm angry at the long-standing oppression, occupation, and ethnic cleansing committed by the Israeli government against the people of Palestine. And I'm angry at this violence that has been perpetrated in my name. Oppression of one people does not solve oppression of another. We have to be able to hold each other's humanity, the dignity of every human life, or there cannot be justice, and we will never see peace.
The Gaza Strip is in a humanitarian crisis. Hospitals and medical centers are collapsing due to electricity and water having been shut off. One prominent hospital, the Al Ahli Arab Hospital, was hit with an airstrike and over 500 civilians were killed. Currently, one of the Palestinian Red Crescent Society's hospitals, the Al-Quds Hospital, is under an evacuation order from the Israeli government, a move that both the World Health Organization and the United Nations says is impossible to fulfill. Today's offering will go towards the Palestinian Red Crescent Society. The PCRS is a humanitarian organization that operates in Palestine and in the diaspora. The Red Crescent Society is a member of the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. With almost 4,000 staff, 15 hospitals, a number of community health centers, and more, the Palestinian Red Crescent Society works tirelessly to allay human suffering. These workers are quite literally putting their lives on the line. 4 of their paramedics were killed last week in what the organization states was a targeted attack. Please, we urge you to support a heroic organization working for peace, dignity, and humanity. We stand with peace. Folks in person have the opportunity to give donations to the greeter, Sky, who will be walking around with the collection plate. For those of you online, you can use the links in the chat box to donate on Venmo or PayPal. You can find us directly on Venmo at Sanctuary Boston. No hyphens, dashes, or anything, at Sanctuary Boston. You can also link the QR code on the screen. If you've written a joy or sorrow on one of our cards in person, we will also collect those now during the music. Thank you.
We've got another song about the amazingness of the universe and our place in it, but I just want to just take us back to meditation on breathing for a second before we do that, and just center ourselves. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out.
When I breathe
Breathe in.
I breathe
Breathe out.
When I breathe
Breathe in.
I breathe
Breathe out.
When I breathe
Breathe in.
I breathe
Breathe out.
When I breathe
Breathe in.
I breathe
Breathe out.
Breathe
Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now something different. Look at Earth from outer space. Everyone must find a place. Give me time and give me space. Give me real, don't give me fake. Give me strength, reserve control. Give me heart and give me soul. Give me time, give us a kiss. Tell me you're unpolitic. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. And give me love over, love over, love over this. And give me love over, love over, love over this. Give me one, 'cause one is best. In confusion, confidence. Give me peace of mind and trust. Don't forget the rest of us. Give me strength, reserve control. Give me heart and give me soul. Wounds that heal and cracks that fix. Tell me you're unpolitic. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. Open up your eyes. And give me love over, love over, love over this. And give me love over, love over, love over this. And give me love over, love over, love over this. And give me love over, love over, love over this. And give me love over, love over, love over this.
We know that whenever we gather as a community holding the fullness of life, its joys and sorrows, our hopes and prayers, the milestones in our lives, our wishes for the world. We'll begin by sharing those joys and sorrows that were shared from those here in person, and have a time afterwards for those online to share as well, because we know that sorrows shared are burdens lightened, and joys shared are joys multiplied. Here are some of the things from those among us here tonight. Bless you. Jen shares this joy. She writes, "My second book has been accepted for publication. I am so thrilled to have a new project to work on." Congratulations, Jen. From Jalen, a sorrow. Everything just feels like a lot. From Tayward, a joy. They write, "My birthday is on Friday. My partner and I will be going to Montreal for the weekend. Happy birthday and safe travels." Happy birthday, dear Tayward. And many more. Okay, this one is a mixture. Some joy, some sorrow from Phoebe and Ashley. They write, "Sending so much love to our dear friend Rosemary. This is a hard week." Rosemary, I know you're on there. Sending you love. And an anonymous sorrow to close our time of this part of sharing. This person writes, "For one of my dearest friends who is having the rise of Islamophobia impact her daily life deeply. May she and her community be surrounded in love. And for every Palestinian who has lost their life, seen their families and friends die, and homes crumble. For these and all that's on our hearts, let's sing again. There is a love." There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. And we join those joining our community remotely in celebrating their joys and holding their sorrows. Those of you on Zoom, if you have a joy or a sorrow, you're welcome to send a message in the chat and I'll read it aloud. If you'd like me to read it anonymously, you can send me a direct message to joysandsorrows-Joanna Lebkin, and I'll read it anonymously. Sarah writes, "Heartbroken at the violence in this, our dear world, that has already been hurting so much. Grateful for those who continue to work for peace, no matter how hopeless it seems. Thinking especially of Ayako Kazuka, who survived Hiroshima, and Toshika Shinagawa and their fierce determination to persist in peace. Grateful also for a powerful 2 weeks in Japan, though wishing COVID hadn't accompanied me home as an unwanted traveling companion." Elizabeth writes, "A joy. The weather here has been lovely. I got to go for a long walk today and see the bees enjoying the last of the flowers and the squirrels nibbling on pumpkins." An anonymous sorrow for those in Jewish communities and Muslim communities who are grieving, who are afraid, who are hurting. Hannah writes, "My heart is heavy about what's going on in the world, and I just found out one of my aunts has been given a cancer diagnosis. Let's take one more full breath together, holding those online in our hearts. And we sing, "There is a Love." There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. I invite you to join me now in a time of prayer and meditation. Let's just take a few quiet moments together. Perhaps you'd like to take a fuller breath, settle into your seat, or stretch up to the sky. Holy One, Spirit of compassion that dwells among us and holds us, be with us in all that we're holding. Be with us in the grief and the fear and the concern, in the prayers for healing, in the wishes that cycles of violence may come to a conclusion, in prayers for justice and liberation, peace, wholeness, and well-being. Be with us when our hearts are tender and bruised, and may we feel that thread of compassion and love going between us into something greater. Be with us, Spirit of compassion, in our joy and celebration, in milestones, in new projects, in birthdays and trips, in the sunshine and the tree rings and the squirrels nibbling on pumpkins. May we find moments of ordinary magic to brighten our days and make us lift our heads in wonder. May we see even in that a compassionate presence at work. May the one who makes peace in the high places make peace over us and over all of humanity. And let us say, Amen.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew.
Our sanctuary ritual is a time to remind us of the light that is within each of us, and the light that is between us, and the light that grows brighter when we are together. In a moment, we'll sing Sanctuary again as Ashley has led us. And then after that first time through, we'll begin to hum. And as we hum, those here in person are invited to light candles at the station here or the one toward the back. I think there's just 2 this evening. And as you pass the candle lighting taper to the next person, take a moment to see the divinity that is between the 2 of you. Those of you online are welcome to take a breath, share a candle in the chat, or share a moment of gratitude in the chat. After the room is filled with light and our lights are kindled online, we'll sing Sanctuary again. And whether it feels like your own flame is just flickering or burning brightly, there is a light within you, and we're so glad you have brought it to share with us this evening. Let's sing together, Sanctuary.
Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary anew. Make us aware we are a sanctuary, each made holy and loved right through with thanksgiving. We are a living sanctuary
So, one more thing from Barbara Brown Taylor. She says, "Since I am not a scientist, I am not always sure what I'm looking at. Nor do I have the theoretical background to discern all of the implications of a particular phenomenon. But as a preacher, which is to say, a roving reporter of life on the planet, I reserve the right to make meaning of what I see." Well, I am half a scientist and about half a preacher. You might be all scientist and no preacher. You might be preacher and no scientist. Maybe you're mathematician, engineer, babysitter, organizer, singer. We don't always have to be sure what we're looking at, but we all have the right to make meaning out of what we see. Go and watch closely, friends. Watch closely and see what reveals itself to you. May it be so, and amen.
Oh, below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the
This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. This is my home. This is my only home. This is the only sacred ground that I have ever known. And should I stray in the dark night alone, rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Rock me, goddess, in the gentle arms of Eden. Thanks, everyone.